a little red,
Oh,
look for our little red box that comes up
I'm
the top.
not used to being on the side. Wait a minute.
Ooh, I know when we miss our Ruth. Whenever Ruth's not here, we say it just throws things off.
Yes,
We're
yes,
not in the same place we're usually in or anything. But that's okay. That's okay.
that is okay.
We're gonna follow our format as we always do. So we're gonna have our weekend review. We got our weekend review straightened up. You want to go first tonight?
I'm sure I can.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Uh, you go first. I will go second, and I hope that Ruth. I don't know whether she'll have an opportunity to tune in or not, but we miss you, Ruth.
Yes, we do.
Miss you. Miss
She look
you.
like those pictures are fine. She's doing good. So
I know. I know. We're gonna give her weekend review for her.
I was
That's
just teasing right along with her.
absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I think we're ready to go on and get started. How about you,
I think
Victoria?
we are about as ready as we gonna be.
All righty, sounds good to me. Noel, you can take us out, and we'll see what happens next.
Yes. I just want the music to keep going sometimes.
We didn't mean to interrupt your party. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to Authors Up. So glad to have you with us tonight. So glad. Let's see. Linda Cooks has joined us already this evening. Hey, Linda. Good
Yay!
evening to you. And there's Angie Oliphant, our South Carolina connection. She's hanging out with us tonight. Good to have you in the house, Angie. Glad to have you here. And of course, Queen Victoria. We are
Hello, darling.
glad to have you in the house
I'm
tonight.
glad to see you too.
I tell you, thank you, ma'am. We're missing our compadre tonight. Ruth is
Yeah.
not with us. Ruth is visiting her dad, but she is having fun with her baby
Big
sister.
time.
She is just the cutest thing. And I know you can just see the smile on Ruth's face and the smile on her sister's face. And do you know how old is her little sister?
I think she's two. She gonna be three.
Is she going to be 3?
Yeah, or if she is three, 2 or 3. But
We're gonna sneak a picture and we're gonna have it next week. So we go when she has her weekend review next week. She's gonna also have a picture to share. She doesn't know that yet, but that's what we're gonna do.
we
That's
won't
what
tell.
we
We won't
decided.
tell her. I won't tell her.
So we're gonna get started as we usually do, and that's with talking a little bit about our weekend review. So what were you up to last week, Victoria? What's in your weekend review?
My weekend review, it was called Simply Juggling. Sometimes I feel like I just got all of the pins up and just juggling. Whew. We had the book Our Joy 365, y'all.
That's
Joy
right.
365 devotional. Drum roll. It make #1 bestseller on the day
That's,
it opened this past week. So we now can consider ourselves to be best selling authors.
that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
That was a good thing. I was excited. I went out there, did my review, downloaded the e-copies. But if anybody wants the um a signed copy from either one of us, just contact us. We'd be happy to get it in your hands. I have ordered a couple copies myself of the devotional and the book, and I can't wait to get it because that's the first thing I'm gonna do is show. Look, it's the book, it's the book. But so that was really exciting. But last week was a little rough. It was a little rough. Still dealing with some things going on in my job, and it's all been in the news, and just the morale. Everybody is low, and I had to actually I actually had to find joy and push joy myself last week, and it was a little rough. There was, I think Thursday, I just cried. I just finally, the pressure, I guess, it just released. And I felt a little better. And I said, you know what? I can't let this overwhelm me because I know God's got this. He's got it. So Friday, I put on sermons. I listened to music. I just did whatever I could to, bring that encouragement back to myself, and I'm successful with that. So today, this smile is real and genuine. And today, I snuck a little me time. That was the best. I went and saw a movie. I got something to eat. I came back in time for the show. And I just stayed out of the house, took the locator off my phone, didn't answer the phone.
Oh, you did a whole hide thing.
Self-care is not selfish, y'all. So I'm gonna tell you that. That self-care is not selfish. And I did something today that I've never done, and I'll be 60 in August. I've never gone to see a movie by myself. Never.
Are you kidding me? Wow. What did you go see?
The Book of Clarence. It was, oh my gosh. I thought the movie was like a satire or was funny or whatever. It was not. I was bawling by the end of the movie.
Oh, wow.
That is a good movie about your purpose, about redirecting when you feel, when you find life is going one way and it's not. It speaks a lot about society norms. I was just...
Wow. Not what you expected at all, huh?
Not at all. But it was well worth that 2 hours I spent in that theater. So go see the Book of Clarence. You'll thank me later.
Okay. All right.
That was my week in review. So what turned out, God turned into a smile and positivity. So I'm happy tonight. I'm just grateful. So how about you? How was yours?
Well, I didn't necessarily have a happy week.
Okay.
However, me, I am, if I get up, I open my eyes. It can be any kind of day I choose for it to be.
Come on now. I
choose joy. Down and had to encourage myself in some cases. And we're still kind of reeling over the transition of the owner of and founder of SIBN. So was a lot of that going on. And interestingly enough, we are so blessed at our church because we have psychotherapists there. And, in between services today, he did just a little conversation, I'll call it. It wasn't a teaching, it was just a conversation on dealing with grief. And understanding that grief isn't not just an individual or a person, it's about loss and how you handle loss and all of that. And there were so many people who stayed, after service just to be able to talk and to go through those things. So it wasn't a sad thing at all. It was a healing thing.
So support sounded like it was very supportive.
It was
I'm sorry I missed that on my Vicky's day off.
Very supportive. Now on the other side of the fence, I don't do much shopping, and I I heard my daughter say, "You go to the grocery store now, you're making a life or death decision because things have just gone up so very high." Well, I wasn't food shopping, but I went to get some ink. I had run out of ink.
Okay,
I'm still very much a paper person, so I had run out of ink.
Likewise,
and what used to be a $77 purchase, $77 for my ink cartridges, was now $84. Wow. And I thought, well, I'll just go over to the other store and see if I can get a better deal over there. And over there, the cartridges were $96. $96 for ink.
I can't even whistle.
What in the world is going on? I'm telling you.
Oh
So
my
I
gosh.
decided to get some different cartridges, and they don't work. So now I've got to go back to the store and try to figure that out. And I do these little books for prison ministry.
Yeah,
And
you need your printer to work. Yeah.
yeah, I gotta get my printer working. So you all, kind of cheer me on, say a little prayer and all that. I can find.
Can I ask you a quick question? We won't
Yeah.
stay on there long. Is it time for a new printer?
No, this isn't.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah, nothing.
Just
Nothing
trying to
wrong
be sure.
on that side. Just got to figure out how to get some ink in it now.
Got you.
But it will be well. I'm really. I'm glad to greet another day. Every
Amen.
time I get the opportunity, because it's a chance for us to share some good things and some
Yes.
good news, and also, be a comfort to somebody else, and let them
Exactly.
know
Exactly.
that if they're going through, they're not going through it alone, and there's
That's right.
some things that we can do to help support one another. So
Amen.
all in all, good week, always good.
That's right. And we still here to praise his name. Well, I'm excited about
Yes.
our author who we have tonight. So let me tell you guys a little bit about her.
All right.
All right. Amy Friedel has fond memories of best friend sleepovers when they called where they called local publishers and asked them to print the story of their friendship because it was really great. Her desire to be a children's book author has been a childhood dream put off by life, raising kids, and teaching 7th grade English. After a battle with depression and weight loss, Amy took to the outdoors where she found peace, calm, and a sense of strength through adventures she never had as a child. So, in an effort to recreate her own story and define her adventure, she started Strong Girls Travel, a book series that reminds young girls that they can get out and have adventures too. We want you to be sure to check out her website, and we'll tell you about that a little later, where you can get book updates, but you can also read some pretty amazing stories about women who live inspiring lives every day. So you can define your own adventure. So after a short break, we will be back with Amy Friedel to talk about her book series, Strong Girls Travel. We'll be right back.
Well.
Hello, good evening.
Welcome.
Hey there, Amy. So good to have you. Glad that you're going to be with us tonight talking
Thank you
about
so
your
much.
book. And look, those who have joined us tonight, share. If you know anybody in particular who has young people, this is a good show for them to watch. So, Angie, if you can get the goddaughters together,
Yes.
or anybody else that you know that you can share this program with, that would be absolutely amazing. We'd love to have them on and have them identify themselves as well. Well, Amy, we have been looking forward to this. We are so happy to have you on Authors Up tonight and to be able to tell us about your book. And we're going to have a treat tonight, guys, because Amy is also going to read a little bit of her book, and we're excited about that. But I'm going to try to be Ruth tonight. Ruth usually starts everything off, and she starts off with the same question. Not a question, really, but she says to our author, so, Amy, tell us about your book.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for having me on tonight. I'm very excited to be here with you tonight and to be able to share this.
Oh, we're glad you're here.
Thank you. So, Strong Girls Travel is is a book series, but I just launched book number 1 in November. So Strong Girls Travel, AJ's Adventure at Indiana Dunes was the first book that launched this past November. The series is a series. It's a children's book series set in national parks, but with a girl as the main character. And in all of the children's book national park books out there, that doesn't exist. There's a boy main character or a cartoon moose. And so I've decided it's
Right.
Yep, it's girls' turn. So each book is set in a different national park, with AJ as our main character, and she's the one experiencing life there, or traveling there, or visiting there. We started with Indiana Dunes and working our way through the parks, one book at a time.
Awesome. Awesome. How many books do you think you will have in the series total? What are you looking forward to doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are 63 national parks, but there are 8 in Alaska alone.
Wow.
And I go to the park, I adventure at the park, I take pictures for the illustrator, and there are 4 parks very close to each other in Alaska. And this is my ignorant self speaking, because I've never been there, but how different could they look?
They might be a little cold. They might be a little cold.
Yeah, I know. I'm okay with the cold, and I know that the parks further in Alaska, they're going to look different. There's an Arctic sand dune park up there I would love to see. That'll look different than the parks on the coast.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And there's also national lake shores. I am in Wisconsin. We have a gorgeous Apostle Islands National Lake Shore, not far from Michigan's Pictured Rocks National Lake Shore. I'd love to do books about those. So I don't know. I'm going to see where this goes. And
Okay.
yeah.
All right. That sounds good. And you're going to let us know when you go from park to park, because I would be interested in knowing about those parks in Alaska myself.
Well, right. Yeah, me too. I'm sticking with the parks east of the Mississippi right now, because those are the ones I've been researching over the last couple of years. And those are pretty attainable for a lot of us living on the eastern side of the country.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But my mom happens to live in Indianapolis, and with my brother. Where are the Indiana Dunes?
Indiana Dunes are right around Gary.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it's at the very bottom tip of Lake Michigan. So
Okay.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. Hey, Leah, thank you for joining us tonight. And if you've got some young ones that you can share this broadcast with, we would love it. Thank you for being here. What I know that you were saying that there were no books that had ladies, young ladies doing the traveling and all, and having the adventure. But aside from that, what inspired you to do it? Because I hear you saying, I go, so you're not talking about somebody else's adventures. You're actually going to these parks, and you are taking the pictures. You said that you
absolutely. Yeah.
What made you decide to do that?
So it actually, back in 2021, my oldest daughter was living in Montana and working she's a seasonal worker in the hospitality industry, and she was working near Glacier National Park. And a girlfriend of mine and our daughters, we all took a trip, and we're like, we can do this, just us girls, and strong women can travel, and we can do this. And we went out on our own, and her husband had just passed away. We left mine here, and us girls just took off across the country. And we're like, we're going to do this. And I remember sitting on a roadside wall in Glacier National Park, looking at this beauty and thinking how confident and brave I felt that I was able to do this thing with these other strong women. And I sat there with my coffee, and I looked at my daughter, and I said, every girl needs to know that she can do this, that she doesn't have to be held back by her own fears and by her inhibitions and by the ideas that the world puts on us that says, oh, girls can't do that, or women can't do that, or you need a man to be able to do that. And and it's not anti-man. My husband is incredibly supportive of these efforts, but it's just that we can do these things too. And so sitting there overlooking this gorgeous scene in Montana, I said, this is it. This is the book idea I've always wanted to write and didn't know I wanted to write it. And it took a couple of years to be able to balance some life things. But I was in the middle of or actually coming out of a pretty depressive chapter of my own life, battling with some weight loss issues and some relationship issues, and kind of found myself once I got out into, I started hiking and started kayaking and didn't know I could do that, and started solo road trip and solo camping. And every time I would go,
I'm sitting here, I'm like, solo camping? Are you kidding? Wow.
yeah, I went car camping this last fall.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, like things I never thought I could do before. And I'm like, I did this. It's pretty great. It's very possible that I punched a wolf in the face in September through my tent. Something was sniffing around.
And I thought I was saying something by saying I went to the movies by myself. Wait a minute.
No. But I was listening to you, Miss Victoria, because that is exactly so. All right. So I have to back up. Before the books came to be, I started stronggirlstravel.com in an effort to just inspire women to be brave.
Yes.
And whatever brave meant for them, it didn't always mean camping. For some women I talked to, I asked them, what is your biggest fear? And so many women said, I don't go eat alone. I don't go to a movie alone.
That's a big one. That's
That's a huge one, that we feel like everybody's looking at us. And I'm like, you know what, ladies, we are confident. We would, and yes. So beating that brave, you hit your brave adventure by doing that today. And I bet you learned something about yourself. Just something as simple as going to a movie and turning off your locations, didn't you?
I did.
You did.
That's a whole nother show right there. So
But I bet you felt brave and you felt confident and you could do it again if you wanted to, right?
I will.
Yep. And that's what stronggirlstravel.com started. I started interviewing women who were just doing brave things, whatever their definition of brave was. And I started a weekly blog where I was interviewing women and meeting them online and writing up articles about them. And so the website is full of those stories. And then it turned into the books. And when I had the creative time after my day job to give to writing the books, that's the avenue it has taken. And I'm here for it. So.
Wow.
And and it's important to note that you were saying the brave thing for you.
Yes.
Individual, because it is different for all of us. My brave solo trip would be me going alone on a cruise ship with about 5,000 other people. Sure. I'm not going to get out. I can't even fathom going out alone. Now, the dinner thing, no, doesn't bother me. Movies by myself, that kind of thing. But to go camping or traveling like that by myself, oh my gosh, I don't know that I could do that. But I am so glad that there is somebody who not only can do it, but who is willing to share their adventure in doing it. So I think that just makes the story more incredible to me.
Well, and you don't have to do what makes Miss Victoria feel brave or what makes me feel brave, right? And that's what Strong Girls Travel is all about. It's not about getting a passport and traveling. It's about traveling outside of the box and outside of your own way so that you can live a life that you never imagined for yourself, or you did and you didn't think you could get there.
Exactly. I love it. It is so, I think it's nothing in it, to me, nothing is coincidental. And so I really believe that us having this conversation on this show tonight, when I did my brave thing, strong girl thing,
Absolutely.
it's absolutely amazing. And I know some women who have not gone to the movies by themselves either. So for me to do it, I'm hoping that it will inspire other people to do it. Just do it. It's okay.
It is.
But I just had a stigma in my mind that I couldn't go by myself, and I was afraid. And I'll be honest. I went to how you go up to the aisles. I went up to the very last row, sat in the corner so I could see the whole theater because I watched too many Criminal Minds.
But that's okay. And that's part of making those brave, strong choices. When I solo travel, I don't share my locations with everybody. I don't leave my door unlocked.
Right.
I go into a coffee shop and I sit where I can see the entrance, and that's okay. You did the right thing.
Yeah, whatever makes you feel safe.
Yeah, you did what you needed.
My question. I'm sorry, you have one, Andrea?
Let me just finish this one thing, because she was saying that Amy was saying that it was a 2-year process, and that was the other thing that I wanted to talk about just very quickly, Victoria, was in asking her how long it took her to do it. In those 2 years, was it something that was just kind of a steady kind of progression, or did you take it and you put it on the shelf and you said, I'll get back to this next week, and next week turned into next month, and you know how it goes sometimes?
Oh, I know how it goes.
That 2-year process like for you?
So I was teaching full-time 7th grade English at the time, when I started the idea, and I tried. Oh boy, did I try. I told my husband, I'm gonna give this a go. I will work all day, and I'm gonna give some weeknights and evenings time to do this. But by the time I came home, after being gaslit by 12-year-olds who think they're men and chasing a test, I had nothing left. I had no creative energy. I had nothing left. I actually ran away from my teaching career in June of this year. And I left teaching, and I said, you know what? I need to rip off this Band-Aid. And for my own mental health, I needed to be done with that. I needed a new story for me. And so that was really my brave, intimidating, scary move. In June, walking away from a teaching career. I taught off and on for about 22 years. And
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I got to a point where I said, I can't chase the state test anymore. I can't be ridiculed by little boys who tell me that they're going to email the principal because I shouldn't talk to him like that. I said, because I asked you not to talk to me? Okay, tell him I said hi. Like, it was just, I was done. I need a different story. And so this summer I left teaching. I hired a publishing coach and said, tell me what to do and I'll do it. Because I have ideas, but I'm going to waste a lot of time. And so from June to November was the first process, actually, to get it written, get it professionally edited, find an illustrator that agreed with my mission and my ideas behind it, and get it to print. And now that I have an editor I love and trust and an illustrator I love and trust, I'm hopeful that the process will go a little smoother. My illustrator has room for 3 books in his schedule this year. So that is the goal.
Wow. That's great. That's great. Victoria, we're going to go to you, but don't let us forget, because Amy, I do want to make sure that we talk a little bit about the illustrator and that process and how you came to that. So Victoria, you had something, and after that, let's let Amy read a little bit.
Yes. My question just was about your writing journey, because you said you're in the bio that your desire to be a children's book writer was a childhood dream of yours. So, can you talk about that a little bit? And I know you said you put it off a little bit because of life and all that, but what was writing for you like as a child?
As a child, I did a lot of creative writing, a lot of stories. I do remember my friend Sarah and we called up a publishing house. We're like, could you just print our story? It's no big deal. Like, we just have a great story. And this very gracious woman on the other line was just, oh, honey, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
We were probably 8 and just looking in the white pages.
Oh, wow.
We didn't know what we were doing, of course. But I remember loving creative writing class in high school and in college. And then I just kind of took a back seat and thought, maybe someday, I don't know. For a little bit, I took a break while I was teaching. I took a career break to stay home with my babies. And while they were young, I remember I took an online class with the Institute of Children's Literature, because I'm like, maybe I can stir this up again and let's keep this alive. And then that just went away because teaching just kind of sucks everything out of you by the end of the day. And there's not a lot of room left. So it was a very intentional choice to change careers and kind of rebrand myself here. So
good for you. Good for you.
That's great.
Well, I think now is a good time for you to go ahead and read your excerpt and show our listeners and our viewers what your book looks like.
So this is the first book. Yay! Strong Girls Travel, AJ's Adventures at Indiana Dunes. It's intentional that we want it to look like the park. So
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you can go ahead, Amy, whatever places you want to read from, to just share a little bit.
Sure.
When we can have our authors read, we always like to hear their voice to their book. So
Absolutely. So this is at a part of the story where AJ, our main character, she's visiting her cousin Charlie. Charlie's also a girl, but she's visiting her cousin Charlie. She had ideas of what they were going to do together on their trip. It involved malls and shopping and zoos and things like that. But Charlie had other ideas and wanted to bring her to the park. So this is at the point where they're at the park. AJ has this grumpy plan in store. She's like, I'm just going to keep being grumpy and maybe they'll change their mind. But they get to the part that Charlie's been waiting for all morning. So they enjoyed about a mile of fresh air while Charlie pointed out tiny buds on the swamp white oak trees. As they rounded a bend, AJ saw a sign. Trail to beach? What? I thought this was a mountain. I'm just seeing trees on this hill. I don't get it, she frowned. Charlie grinned and picked up her pace. Come on, you don't want to miss this. The sun's going to be up soon. And this is the sign at the park. Whoops, sorry. This is the sign at the park, trail to beach. And so we want my illustrator I'll tell you that later. She took her cousin's hand and led her uphill to a narrow trail cutting through the top of the dune. AJ froze in her tracks. Wait, how had she just been in normal looking trees, but now suddenly standing in prairie grass and staring at what looked like the ocean? Where am I? She asked, confused. Breakfast time, Aunt whispered. The girl sat on the edge of the dune, looking out over the cotton candy sky and the rolling ocean-like waves of Lake Michigan. The sun peeking up over the giant sand dunes gave the place a magical glow. The smell of clean air instantly relaxed her. AJ didn't say much, but felt like she might miss something cool if she blinked. Once they finished eating and filled their picnic bag with the trash to take home, the girls ran down the sandy dune to the water's edge. AJ felt like she was on another planet. The moon was still awake while the sun rose over the hills. The massive lake brought rocks and tiny shells to her feet. She looked behind her and smiled, seeing just their boot prints in the sand. And I'm going to stop there because this is my favorite illustration of the whole book.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
beautiful. Beautiful.
Nice. Nice.
There.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Well done.
Thank you.
Roar of the crowd behind
And
you.
you know, reading it made me feel like I was there, and it's the way you described it, so beautiful. That's why I said I want to know where that is because I'd
Thank
love to
you.
go see that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. Thank
you. That was the goal.
Yeah.
Met the goal. Met the goal. You have other questions for
No, I don't have anything else. I know you want to talk about the illustrator. Yeah.
Victoria? Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that because it is unusual that you have a book like that does not portray the characters in some way, shape, or form. You know, whether it is looking like, or whether it is one that is a cartoon illustration or whatever. But this has no AJ, no Charlie,
no character in the pages. That's right.
no people pictures. Tell us why you decided to do that, how you went about finding the illustrator, and what that process was like.
Sure. So my idea was always to have the pictures be from the main character's eyes. You see it, you see the story, you see the park from her eyes, but I didn't want the character in the pages. I remember telling my students last year that they weren't going to, when I was showing them some of the pictures and trying to involve some of them that were interested in along the process. And one of the kids said, well, wait, you do a lot of this stuff, don't you? You go hike and you go do all this stuff. I said, well, yeah, the illustrations are coming from my pictures. I take the pictures there. I give them to, I'm going to find an illustrator. At the time, I hadn't found one yet. I will give them to an illustrator. And the goal is that they will make it look like art. He says, yeah, going into the woods. That sounds like a white mom thing to do. That sounds about right. He said, why don't you just put somebody that looks like you in the pages? And I said, but I don't want the story seen through just that character. I want anybody to be able to look at these pages and imagine themselves there and imagine themselves seeing the park. So I started vetting illustrators. Some of them had a very hard time. They said, well, we have to draw what's happening on the page. I said, no, we don't. I don't want a reader to only see it and say, well, that's great for this kid who looks like the author, but not for me. I look different, or I don't have that experience. I want any kid to be able to read this. And so through an online research process, I met Drew Clark. He is the illustrator in our books, and he absolutely agreed with the mission, and he said, wouldn't it be cool if a kid took this book to the park with them? It's a little interactive. So at the back of the book, these are my pictures
Yes.
that I
yes.
took, and then he turns it into that. And he said, wouldn't it be cool if a kid was holding the book and said, wait, that's where we are. That's right there. That's where we are, to be able to match that up. And that's exactly what our goal was, is to write it in a way that any kid could look at it and picture themselves at the park, not just through a character's lens.
Love it.
I tell you, that's great. That's great. And one thing that you did at the end of the book, which I really liked, and I think the next time that I take my god babies out and we have a little trip anywhere that they haven't been, whether it's a park or the beach or whatever, that we do that adventure checklist.
Yes.
I
That's
think
one of my favorite parts of the book is our little,
that.
Our adventure checklist. And it's different things to do in the entire park, not just the spot that the book is about. This book is about Mount Baldy. They explored Mount Baldy in that one little part of the park.
Mhm.
But the checklist is all sorts of things to do in the entire space. And every book that we write will have an adventure checklist back.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Because,
and then give families engaged, give them things to do. There's different things. It involves reading, drawing, taking pictures, little challenges for themselves.
I love it because it is whenever you go away, sometimes after a while you forget the things that you did, some of the things that you enjoyed. And that's a great way to really create lasting memories.
Yes.
Yeah. And because I mean, it's a children's book, but really it's meant for a little bit older readers who can handle more on a page. Ideally in my brain, it was 4th, 5th, 6th, maybe even 7th grade. So kids who are starting to look, what they're interested in. So maybe they want to do different challenges. They can do the physical challenges that are on the adventure checklist.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a lot of kids who said, wait, he turned it from that picture to the art. Oh, I want to learn how to do that. And kids who are starting to think what they want to do for hobbies or careers. This is really, appealing to them, is the hope anyway.
It is. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and I asked Ruth and Victoria. I said, "Okay, tell me what your take is about this. What do you think the important thing is with this?" And we often do that with the books that we all read, and we have an opportunity to explore. And I think that your explanation, I think it's genius that you decided not to have a character.
Thank you.
Now understanding why you made that decision just makes it even more amazing to me. I think that is really great. I think you absolutely succeeded in what you set out to do and open up a whole new world. Because I think it is a new world for a lot of people, no matter what age, whether you're reading the story to the child or whether the child is actively a part of the next adventures coming up. Now, I know you've got the parks. Do you intend to, and those that can take you for a long time, given the number of parks that there are, but is there another venue that you're thinking about having your stories based in?
I live near Horicon Marsh in Wisconsin, which is the largest freshwater cattail marsh in America. There's a few little cool spots like that. I would love to do a book. I volunteer there a lot, and I would love to do a book about the marsh. In September, I took a road trip to visit Voyageurs National Park, which is up on the border between Minnesota and Canada. And I backpacked at Isle Royale National Park, which is an island in the middle of Lake Superior that you can only get to by boat or plane.
Wow.
But on my way home, I did lots of waterfall hopping around the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and came down through Michigan proper to Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. And there's just a lot of cool places. I don't really know where to stop.
And this might sound like a crazy question, but how do you even determine where you want to go and which one? Because I'm listening to you and I'm thinking to myself, I didn't know that was out there. I didn't know that was out there. Well, what's helping you make the decision as to which one to tap into?
Sure. So my family bought me a big map with pins in it a couple years ago for Christmas. So right now it's literally hanging up in my living room, and I sit there. I'm like, where do I want to go next?
Oh.
But of course, it comes down to budget.
Mhm.
This next year with me not teaching, I need to pick and choose, and so I'm like, I could probably get a 4-day trip in somewhere, but where can I go in 4 days? It can't be Washington State. Um, I also was kind of last year. I took a big trip and I visited 7 national parks in 9 days. Kind of all, there's not that many parks on the eastern side of the country. It's
Right.
easy to get to them, not like the western side of the country where you spend all day driving and you're still in Montana.
Right.
Um,
Right.
So a lot of it comes down to budget. This year, if I can get somewhere, I would like to go to South and North Dakota because I can get there in a day and then explore for a couple days and head back, or maybe go down to St. Louis because oddly enough, St. Louis, the Arch is a national park, and I think it's weird because it doesn't feel very parky.
Archie?
Maybe I'll go down with the lens of the book and write down, and maybe with that one, the lesson always happens when I get there. I get there and I have these expectations and something else happens and I go, oh, that's what this book's supposed to be about. And so maybe that book would be about AJ's expecting it to look like a park, and it doesn't. It's just a big arch in the sky.
How about that? Well, would you tell our listeners and our viewers how they can get in touch with you, how they can get your book, the first book here, and your website again?
Absolutely. So the easiest way to get a hold of me would be through stronggirlstravel.com. I have accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you head over to the website, there's free coloring pages if you sign up for my newsletter that you can print off for your own Strong Girl at home. And we're in the process of the second book. It's going to my illustrator this next week. And so if you sign up on that newsletter, you get little behind the scenes updates and see what's happening there. So
congratulations. I had when Andrea asked about the book, I said, I wish that I had this book when I was raising my 3. I would have definitely recommended this to them. They love to read, anything I put in front of them. And just to let them know that there are places like this they can go to. I wish I had gotten them a passport, to let them know, there's more to life than this town. There's a whole big world out there. Let's explore some of it. Oh, exactly. I thank you. I really do. I have enjoyed you being here. I thoroughly enjoyed the book. Get the book, everybody. Get the book.
And go to the website. There's a lot on the website and a lot of things that you can do that are not budget dependent, that you can really enjoy, that you can create great memories from. And I tell you what, Amy, it has been a joy having you and a joy having you open up another world for us, because
thank you.
It really has. And just, I just encourage everybody. I just think of you're talking about the national park. I'm thinking about walking away from teaching. Sometimes we get locked into what we think the career is, and we find that the career is actually something quite different. And to be able to follow that dream and bring we're going to be talking joy all year, the journal at home, but to bring that kind of joy and let somebody know, you know what, it's not just for me, it can be for you too. Great job.
Absolutely.
Yes. I can talk another 45 minutes and let's go. I just enjoyed her. I enjoyed you, Amy, so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations on your movie move.
Thank you.
We're going to keep up with Amy. We're going to keep up with Amy and keep up with her series and see what else she has on tap. And I encourage all of us. I think I'm going to make it a point to this year have an adventure. It may not be a solo camping trip. It may not be anything like that, but I'm going to do something that I have never done before.
Exactly.
Great goal.
And love it.
I will I will report back in my weekend review and let you know how it all turned out. And hopefully it'll be as great as Amy's book. So
Well, when you do, make sure you tag me in that interview so I don't miss it.
oh, trust me, I will.
Thank you.
So that's it for us for tonight, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Be sure that you share this broadcast with somebody else because it really, really is. We've got to expand where we are and what we're doing and come out the box a little bit. And it's always a joy when we do. So, Amy, thank you again for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
We look forward to success in all you endeavor to do and all the great adventures that you have for AJ and Charlie coming up. We will be right back here next week at the same time. Please put us on your calendar for 7 p.m. on Sunday evenings and a replay on Saturday evenings at 7 p.m. So if you didn't make it tonight and you know some people who you would want to have enjoy this broadcast, they can next Saturday at 7 p.m. But next week, I don't know. I think we have a guest coming up. I can't even tell you who it is because I'm not sure. But we welcome you back. We tell you all the time, you never know what's going to happen when you tune into Authors Up. So put us on your calendar. We look forward to seeing you next week. Have an absolutely amazing week, everybody. Get the book. This website. And tell Amy, we thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. God bless. Have a great week.